Hello and welcome to Meet the Author. Today my guest is Kevin Doy Burton, and he wrote the book Out There. And this is a novel, 600 pages.
Yeah.
And this isn't the first book that Kevin wrote. Kevin wrote 13 books altogether.
13, yes.
8 novels, and the rest were
Well,
Kindle.
3 or 4, a lot of them Kindles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I have about 5 novelettes, but 13 altogether.
Okay. And tell me, what inspired you to start writing? You've been doing it since 2007.
Yes, I have. In 2007, I started well, first of all, I came from Chicago, and I moved my family to Waukesha because I was looking for something like Mayberry without Andy Griff and Barney Fife, Opie Taylor type of town. I found that in Waukesha, so it was a whole new start for me. When I moved to Waukesha, I got into the psychiatric field, and that's when I started realizing I'm dealing with the minds of people. And doing that, looking at that aspect, I'm finding out that there's a lot of strange things going on in the heads of people. So much that I say, I have to write about this stuff. I started talking to people out on the street, on the internet, and I found out like a lot of people are seeing strange phenomena, and I've been hearing about strange phenomena on the internet, on the newspaper. I said, you know what, I can write. I can write about some of this stuff. So I started jotting it down. Then I started looking at more things coming in to my mind, like planes disappearing, like the most recent plane disappeared. Nobody found out about that yet. And I said, I can write something about that. So that's when I started getting into writing. So and then it started taking shape on its own. So and up to now, I've just been still writing. I'm writing now.
So this is the genre of science fiction?
Yes, I like horror and thrillers. My type of writing in the stories that I tell, I like Rod Serling. I really like the Twilight Zone, Ray Bradbury, Dean Koontz. I like them a lot. And I decided, I said, this is what I like to do. I like to expand my imagination because science fiction, nobody can prove you right, nobody can prove you wrong. I just like to entertain people. I'm like an entertainer, but I put my entertaining work in the form of writing. And to me, I write a book to myself because I could sit at a theater and I could see science fiction, and some of these science fiction movies are making $400, $500 million, which means there's a lot of people like that stuff. So I said to myself, I could have did that a little bit different. So how would I do it? So I said, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to write a book, but I'm going to write it to myself, because when I write it for other people, then I have to wonder and ask myself, are they going to like it? You know, I don't want to go to that one if other people are going to like it, but I know what I like. So I write the book to myself. And if I found out if I write it to myself, I can get very emotional because you are the director, the cinematographer. You are all the things that an actor and an actress should be. You are all these people. You're gay, you're straight, you're a female, you're a male. You're all these things. You're the alien, you're the monster. You have to jump into character. And this is what I do when I'm writing because it takes on its own form. I don't know how a story is going to end. I know because of what's been happening to me. I believe in divine intervention. I ask God to send me an angel because I say, I don't know what I'm doing. And I guess that's why I don't never get writer's block, because before I get started, I say, angel, will you come and help me? Because what are we going to do? Next thing you know, it comes to my mind.
You have to do?
For me, I never get writer's block.
I never tried that.
I never get
try
writer's
that.
block. I lay down one line and then I just get an idea. I don't think about where the book is going because every character has its own, and they start talking to other people. If you start off with just yourself, and you want to, who am I going to talk to? So you create the other person you want to talk to. How is that person going to respond back to you? So you become that person to respond to the first person, and then you start off with 2, 3, 4. Now you have a scene, and then when you think about that, you say, wow, you know, I'm going somewhere with this. The problem with that is that when I go to sleep at night, I have this feeling that they're talking to me. Like, you know, when you play a video game and you're in the middle of playing a video game and you're a kid and your mother or father say, come and eat, Johnny. So you have to put it on pause. But if you look at the game, the creatures, the people in the game, it's like they're waiting. What are you going to do? When am I going to finish doing what I'm going to do? So you have to hurry up.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Now,
You have to play the games. You have to play the games.
But I have watched my grandchildren play
Yes.
those games.
Yes, but that's basically what it is, you know.
I'm
So-
old school. We didn't have games like that.
I know. Technology is advancing so fast now.
Yeah.
So when I go to sleep at night, it's like I have these dreams that, you know, something is going on. Somebody's calling me to complete the job that they started doing. So I have to hurry up, get on a keyboard, and go ahead and put this down because something is getting ready to happen, especially if you're in a position where somebody's about to get attacked or somebody's getting killed and you stop and you're doing something else. You say, I don't want this to happen. I got to do something about this. So you have to go back, complete the job. And this is what I'm doing. So that's the reason why I feel like, you know, almost a god because I'm controlling everybody's life. I'm the cinematographer. Like I say, I'm the director. I'm all that there is. I feel like they all dependent on me. They all alive in my mind.
So you get your ideas from where?
My ideas come from the news, things I hear on the internet. I'm one of them people that ask two questions. What if? 2 words.
A lot of books start with what if.
What if? I look at the stars. I say, what if? A lot of people say they believe in God, but they limit God's powers. If He created the universe, why think that there's nothing beyond our own planet? So if He created thousands of other planets, then what would be the species? What would they look like on these other planets? How would they respond if they came over here? We sending messages and tapes out there, hoping that they send us, get the signal. What would they do? How will we respond if they get the signal and come to us? How will we react? I mean, we can't react when people from foreign countries come over here. We can't even fly in a low-fly zone. If you send a probe over in outer space and it circles around another planet, wouldn't you be on a no-fly zone? We are the aliens. So I look at all this. I said, if we send something out there, somebody intelligent picks it up, and they look at it. They say, wow, look at this. They're so behind time. We got to follow the trajectory up there to find out where it came from. Let's go over there. And then we'll be afraid. But we were the one that sent it out there. We talk about the Martian probe that's going around there on the land, circling around. To me, it looked like a Tonka toy. Can you imagine what it would look like if there were life on there? You know, until you're inviting them over here and don't even know it. But anyway, that's the reason why I say, what if?
Okay.
So I say, well, what if?
So did you start this book with what if?
Yes. All my books, I start off with what if. Because sometimes I don't know what I'm going to write, but then a notion will come in my head, and I say, what if? So I create the if. Yeah.
So out there, tell the audience what the
Well, out there,
out there is about.
I'll be glad to. Out there is about a parallel universe, and everything on the other parallel universe looks exactly like our universe, even our own planet Earth. The difference is the other Earth, the dominant species are like insects, whereas our dominant species on this planet are humans. They found a way to come into our universe, and they discovered for the first time there's a planet that looked exactly like ours. So when they came through there, it was against their law to do that. They did it anyway. A group of them came over here, and they discovered that the species on this planet was so far behind on technology that they figured they can go ahead and take it over. They've landed on the moon. They decided to set up a laboratory on the moon. They decided to go ahead and create hosts in the humans by putting parasites inside of the humans and make the humans do the biddings. So they know how to infiltrate humans. They have the ability to make themselves look like us. Just like we can go ahead and have our spies and put on disguises and look like other people in another culture and then spy on them. They have the same ability. So they walk around this planet and they create underground cities so they can be able to come above ground, kidnap humans, take them down there and experiment on them by sending them to the moon. They infiltrate them by making them look exactly like humans. One part of the infiltration is they can make themselves look exactly like humans by putting them in a machine, but they can keep all their intelligence. The other side of it is they can go ahead and put a parasite inside a human and make the human do the bidding, but the problem with that is they have limited abilities, and the only abilities they have is the ability to want to feed, just feed and kill. Because this is a horror book, science fiction horror book. So you have two different types of infiltration going on with humans. One of them, they could walk among us and act exactly the way they want to act, which is themselves. Another one is like they put a parasite down in you, and the parasite grows inside the human until it forms, and the human does its bidding. But it's like a zombie, like some of these zombie pictures. They only have a need to feed. So this is what the whole story is about. So it's a 604-page story, complete entertainment. You really got to buy the book. It's a lot of things going on. I'm gonna read a segment about the book shortly.
All right. Now, in producing your published book, how did you get through that process?
Well,
when you first started, or whatever, until the last one.
When I first started writing it, or just get a production.
When you first started writing, period.
Oh yeah, when I first started writing it, like anything, it takes time to get somebody to want you to get closer to you.
It's okay. Your wife is here. She knows right everything is up and up.
Like I'm gonna tell everybody out there, writing is beautiful, but go to the writers' market because they have hundreds and hundreds of agents and production companies and publishers there. You have to do that. You got to write letters. They call them quarry letters. Basically, it's a letter for acknowledging about yourself, like your biography, a little bit about your story, and you'll send these letters out to these various people because you can't try to think of it in your mind. You're not going to find it in the newspaper. But go to the library. It's a thick book, and everything's in alphabetical order. And just go down the line. It takes time, but it's worth it. And so I went through a Publish America because it didn't cost anything. And don't let a lot of people tell you about your publisher or whichever publisher you have, because you can't put it all on your publisher. You got to get out there. You got to hustle because this is your work. You want people to know who you are, that you do exist. Because if you sit around waiting on other people to do things for you, you'll be waiting a long time.
That's right. It'll never happen.
It'll never happen.
Okay. So you published through Publish America.
I published through Publish America and Outskirts Press. Outskirts Press is you pay for that. Like other publishers, you're gonna be paid for that. But just to give you an idea, Publish America, you don't have to pay for it. The books are a little bit expensive, but now you have Kindle. Now the Kindle come out, it makes it very inexpensive for people to want to buy books, which is, again, technology is greater for upcoming authors now, whereas back in the day, you mail off a manuscript, it probably weigh a pound and cost you like $14 just to send it out in the mail. You have to be rich to send it out to 100 different publishers just to get it known. Now you can paste a lot of your work and send it by email.
Did you have an agent?
I started off with an agent, but then again, having an agent means you putting it all on that one person to do everything for you. It sounds good if you want to go to work and you don't want to do anything else, but you want to have somebody else do all the phone calls for you. But then you have to understand that agent is not just working with you. The agent has other people also. So you have to say to yourself, this is my work. I can do this myself. And you just go ahead and do it. Don't let nobody steer you in the wrong direction. This is what you want to do. You just go ahead and do it. Just do it. Have a lot of faith in yourself. Okay, you're going to have a lot of people who are going to say, this is not right and that's not right. A lot of the information you can get is right there on the internet. If you have a computer to write a book, everything you're looking for is on that computer. All you have to do is know how to find it.
Now, did you take classes on the internet on how to write?
I looked on the internet, and anytime I have a problem, I look at what's the most acceptable way of doing this. So I will go ahead and punch in, give me samples. So the samples will come up, and then you look at it. The more you do that, it starts becoming more familiar. Because I'm going to tell you something. When I first started writing my first book, my very first book, I'm going to tell you the worst mistake I've ever made, but I was proud of myself because I did it. I wrote everything in caps, capital letters. Can you imagine writing a complete novel all in capital letters, and you're sending it out?
It's hard to read.
Hard to read. And the publisher said, you know, the story is nice. I can fix this for you, but it's going to cost you like $5,000. So you say, oh, never mind, I'll just go ahead and do it all over again. So I did it all over again, but I found I was making other mistakes. But I didn't give up. Because when I sent it in, they give me constructive criticism. So I tried it again. And I think I wrote my first novel 4 times before it was actually accepted. And then I learned from that, and I kept going on and on and on. So nothing in life comes easy. You have to go ahead and believe in yourself, have faith, and just go ahead and do it.
Yeah. So you didn't have an editor your first time?
First time I had an editor that does it. A lot of times you can do it through the computer, and they have they correct your words for you. You can practice doing that. And when you do get a publisher do some of the editing for you. But it is good to know as much as you can about it.
But Publish America doesn't do that.
They don't do that much of it. You know, you have to really go ahead and try to look at it yourself and see how you can do it. They can do it. Like I said, it's going to cost you a little more if you want that done.
You really need to have an editor, because the editor, that's their job, to find your mistakes.
Yes, that's right. So don't knock them. They're very good. Get one.
And they're very worth the money.
Yes.
And Milwaukee Writers Circle also has critique groups, and critique groups can help you to make it right, to make your story content be good, and answer any questions. Say, I didn't understand this part, someone will say. And can you make that a little clearer, or something like that? Yeah. So we have 2 critique groups in the Milwaukee area that